Coming up on a new edition of the Will Rickard Show, we will go over the postseason of the Millersburg baseball team that they had this week. The last game was yesterday. We got some Eagles news, some Phillies news, news from all over the sports world from a few months. So, without further ado, your host, Will Rickard. Need some light. Welcome. I decided to come back after all, so I just needed to take some time. There's a lot of stuff going on, and just needed a little bit of a break. So I decided to come back, and had a good time as well. And we'll get into that reason, but we're gonna go over the Millersburg baseball team here. What a run they had after the very slow start they had to the season, and to make a run they did, unbelievable. Town got behind them, and we'll get into that. With those who don't know, Williams Valley's playing for another state championship softball team. They won the other night, so this will be the second appearance in 3 years for Williams Valley as they try to win a state title and have a mini dynasty going. As you recall, last year Millersburg ended their run, and the softball team got to this point last year and came up a game short from getting to Penn State, as the boys did yesterday. So, last couple years, softball, baseball have been really good. Softball has been more consistent, winning the last 4 or 5 years. But now the question will be, can the baseball team use this and become a perennial powerhouse like the softball team? But we'll get into the postseason run. Tough one for Phillies today. They lost 11-3 to Toronto. They have shown their youngness the last month and a half. After that terrific start to the season, middle of May, by the middle of May to now, the youngness has come up and reared its ugly head, as you may say. Playing a tough schedule, with Velasquez out on the 15-day. Eflin got roughed up 2 2/3 innings. I believe he gave up 8 runs. I believe out of the 11. Gave up a great 2 homers. One of them was a grand slam to Josh Donaldson. So we'll talk a little bit about that, and we'll talk about Chicago Cubs, who, in my opinion, are probably the favorite right now to win the World Series. They're just phenomenal. But we'll get into that. We'll talk Eagles. Fletcher Cox, we'll get into that. That's a huge signing. Eagles needed him for this year. We'll talk a little NFL here, college football, the situation going on at Baylor, and my thoughts on the Stanford swimmer. Unbelievable with the sentence there. We'll talk hockey. Hershey Bears would have run, and depends with the Stanley Cup, and we'll talk a little NBA if we got time. But let's get on with the baseball team. Tough loss yesterday, 3-2 to Myersdale. Millersburg matched Myersdale pitch for pitch, pretty much led 2-1. One into the 6th, and one pitch, bam, deep shot to left field. 2-run homer. Hunter Gregson, what a post! Him and Christian Bird-Wingard, what a run they got on here in May and June. Dominant pitching. Saw them play last week against Marion, and Bird wasn't getting the corners. Well, neither pitcher was getting the corners last week, but Bird had a good fastball working and mixed in some off speed stuff. and did a real nice job, kept the hitters off balance. Uh, Lehman picked up his hitting from May until now, hitting near him and Bird hitting near four. Bird was over 400 for a while, but I believe after last night, I believe they're still in the 390s after the season's over. So what a whale of a job by the team. Big hit, fundamental bunting by Wyatt Crum, kept moving the runners over to scoring position. Phenomenal job. Matt Snyder, big hits in the postseason. He did it well. Nice diving catches in the outfield yesterday. Also, got to give Crum some props. Some nice catches in left field. He had a diving catch last week. He had one to win the game for the district championship a couple weeks ago. So the defense phenomenal, and the pitching, Bird and Hunter Gregson, they rode it. Hats off to Corey Kime for riding those two, because it was set. It was perfectly set. Perfectly set with your ace pitching for the champion for the state title, but it didn't work out. But a phenomenal year, and now you got a good core coming back next year. You got Bird, Snyder, Gregson, Schomper. You got those four that you can build off of, and the two freshmen that came off the bench and contributed, pinch running and all that, Logan Troutman and Connor Zimmerman. You got there's a good core there for next year, and if anybody thinks that Millersburg's gonna be a slouch, you got another thing coming. They could easily get on a run again. So hopefully you use this as motivation. But phenomenal job. Proud of these boys, because I saw these boys play earlier in the year, and it wasn't pretty. And they'll be the first one to tell you the pitching was there the whole season. It was just they could not get the bats working, and all of a sudden clicked, and then they just got on fire and rode it. So again, hats off to you guys. Well done. Now hopefully this build and something good starts happening for 2016-17 with the fall sports coming up, football, the two soccer teams, and volleyball. Hopefully we get momentum going as we get to the new 6 classifications that start this coming year, 16. That should be interesting. So also hats off to the softball team as well for another phenomenal year. Came up 1 run short for the district championship again. Coach Ullman did a really good job as well. His first year head coach. Again, young team, tons of talent coming back, pitchers. So you could very well see the Daily Double next year. 2 district champions again for baseball and softball. It's a possibility. Can't rule it out. So enough on that. Do want to give a shout out to Hokey and Kiter. They did a phenomenal job defensively. Third base and first base did well. Did a very, very nice job. Latchall, when called upon pitching, did a nice job. So all those kids, well done. Nothing. Seniors, you'll remember this for the rest of your life. So it'll do you. You'll probably never forget it. So hats off to that. We're gonna take a little break, and then we'll come back, and then we'll talk some MLB, add some NFL, and we'll finish it off. This is the Low Record Show, Low Record Network. We'll be right back.